What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Tasty Tuesday on Tasty League Gaming, the show where we talk about gaming news. My name's Seth.
I'm Chevy.
And a quick reminder, we are in a new month, so make sure to download and play The Surge and Conan Exiles, both offer for free on PlayStation Plus. Make sure to download those, play those, and come back at the end of the month for Plus Club. Let us know your thoughts on those games. We'll let you know ours. And our game of the month, picked for a community member, is Civilization 6. Make sure to play that as well if you got the fucking time to spend on that game. And come back at the end of the month for Game of the Month as well. We're going to talk about that. I already know we're going to enjoy it, but we'll get to talk about our adventures and maybe how it holds up to 5, since I know everybody really liked 5, and 6 seems like it has mixed reviews. Yeah. We got a Discord link down below. Talk to us anytime, all time. We're on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast platforms if you'd prefer to listen to us and you don't want to watch us. But if you want to watch us, check us out on YouTube at Tasty Loot Gaming. All right, so gaming news is really fucking sparse. There's not a whole lot of it. I searched for like 40 minutes. I couldn't find anything aside from Randy Pitchford is clapping back at the community, which is always a fucking mistake. I don't even want to touch that. That whole situation's stupid. So we're going to go with some stuff I did find. We had 3 bits of news to talk about. The first one being typically in the first episode of Tastecast every month, we talk about the games being released for that month. We didn't have a Tastecast, so we're going to do that this episode, which we're going to do right fucking now. So strap in, get ready, let's go. Let's do game releases for April. That's the month we're in, right? So we have, first and foremost, and just as of recording, it is the 9th, so Tuesday. So let's see. Bomber Crew Complete Edition came out April 2nd on PS4 and Switch. We watched something on real quick. It looked like a plane game with Broforce voice acting. Darksiders War Mastered Edition came out on Switch April 2nd. Super Dragon Ball Heroes World Mission, which Chevy informs me is a card game, came out on PC and Switch April 5th. It's always interesting to see games come out on Switch and PC. Like nobody else allowed. Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy comes out on fucking everything, which is crazy. April 9th. So we're talking about games that have come out today. Dangerous Driving, which is essentially Burnout again, which is kind of interesting, comes out today for PS4 and Xbox One. Neo Atlas 1469, game I don't know what the fuck it is. You know anything about that? Anyway, came out on Switch today. Shovel Knight Showdown came out today on PS4, Xbox One, PC, and Switch. Zanki Zero Last Beginning came out today on PS4 and PC. Don't know what that is either. Then we are looking forward to Earth Defense Force Iron Rain coming out on PS4 only April 11th. Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice coming out for Switch, which is fucking insane. They got that to run on there April 11th. That's a technical marvel. Nintendo Labo VR kit coming out for Switch April 12th. Any of you guys pick that up, fucking let me know how that is. Konami Anniversary Collection Arcade Classics can go fuck off April 18th on Switch. I see this game all the time on Steam, and I guess it's leaving Steam for Epic Game Store. A big surprise. But is it Anno or Anno?
I don't know. I've never played that one.
Yeah. Let me know in the comments.
Seen it a million times. So.
Yeah. Anno 1800 is coming out to PC April 16th. Final Fantasy X 10.2 HD Remaster coming out to Xbox One and Switch April 16th. You guys are getting some Final Fantasy love, which is fucking cool to see, especially on the Xbox One and Switch. Just catching up with everybody, which is awesome. World War Z, which is that weird like third-person mass zombie piling up game, comes out April 16th for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Cuphead is coming to Switch April 18th, which is really fucking cool. That's a game I would actually love to play on my Switch. Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen also coming out to Switch on April 23rd. Mortal Kombat 11, a game no one's ever heard of, coming out on PS4, Xbox One, PC, and Switch April 23rd. I can't believe they got that to run on Switch. That game is amazing looking. Although it's 2D perspective, so you probably get a little bit of leeway. Steam World Quest Hand of Gilgamesh. It's probably should be Gilgamesh, but it's spelled mech.
On words, steampunk.
Yeah. Coming out to Switch April 25th. This is a game that I've seen video of, and it looks really interesting. It's art style, but I see cards, and I'm like, But then I see like, turn-based shit. So I'm not sure what the hell it is. Box Boy plus Box Girl comes out to Switch April 26th. This is Switch's month. Days Gone, PS4, April 26th. It's finally coming out. We've been hearing about the game forever. Super Meat Boy Forever, the sequel to the original, coming out to PS4, Xbox One, PC, and Switch. So everything April 26th. And then finally, we have Final Fantasy 12, the Zodiac Age, coming out to Xbox One and Switch. So you're getting 2 Final Fantasies on Switch and Xbox One this month, which is pretty exciting if you are wanting to play those. What do we think about this month, and what games excite you and what games don't excite you?
Well, I mean, you kind of said I think it's a good month for Switch.
Yeah, fucking half that list is Switch.
Yeah. It kind of sucks, though, because a lot of those games I already have on something else. Well, otherwise, I would be tempted to get them. The one thing I will say about the Final Fantasy X and X-2 HD remaster is if this version is the same as the PS4 and PlayStation 3, and I think the PC version, you can save to Square's server. They have their own cloud server for it, and then you can just take your save wherever you're playing. So,
like on all consoles?
I think so. As long as they continue that trend with this one. But I know.
Real quick, want to add fucking Firaxis, right? You guys make Civ.
Yeah.
Just announced that you can switch your save from the Switch to the PC and back and forth, which is really fucking cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. You just reminded me of that.
Let's see. I think it's kind of neat that Phoenix Wright is coming to everything outside of the DS. That's
people love those games, and I've never played them.
Well, and I remember playing a demo for the original one. So I've never actually sat and played those either. It is neat that experience is being brought to not just the Switch but just people in general. So I think that's a Capcom property. So good on you guys for letting everyone play that this time.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I'm a little curious about that one.
That's one of those like Dr. Layton fucking adventure games type things, right? That was really popular.
It's very dialogue heavy, yeah.
I never saw the appeal to that, but people always say that the character's cool and the humor's good, stuff like that. So I kind of get it. I'll have to try it.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Earth Defense Force Iron Rain I am interested in, but at the same time, I have not given Earth Defense Force 5 the love it deserves. So
Which is fucking dope.
let's see. Hellblade for Switch owners is great. If you have a Switch, you should buy that. Konami can go fuck themselves. If you don't have Final Fantasy X and X-2, I already brought this up earlier, though. Those are probably some of the better ones, and I know a lot of people are going to give me a weird face about the X-2 one. I personally believe it is one of the best combat systems that have existed. Storyline aside, it's a fun game.
In any game ever, or
Final Fantasy,
Okay.
I think it has one of the best combat systems. So
that's cool.
10 is just amazing.
Yeah, I need to go back and
You do.
check it out again.
Because I think your mentality now would help you appreciate that better than when
Possibly.
you originally saw it. So,
Possibly.
Cuphead on Switch is also another amazing one that I think if you have a Switch, you owe it to yourself to buy this game. These guys really made some magic when it comes to that game, even just visuals alone, but then the fact that it is also a fun game and it is co-op. So,
And you got the little Switch nuggets you can play
yeah.
co-op with.
Another great one for Switch, Dragon's Dogma. That's another game you should buy if you don't have it already. The more support the game gets, maybe they'll make another one. So
Yeah, a homie said he almost made it, but then he made oh shit. What game did he make?
I don't know, but I do know you've said this before.
Yeah,
and
some
now I've
game that
lost
came
it.
out recently. I want to say Devil May Cry 5. I'm pretty sure it's Devil May Cry 5. He was saying that he wanted to make Dragon's Dogma 2, but then he decided to make that. And I don't know if it is that, but I'm pretty sure it is. I'm like 80% sure. But anyway, and I was just like, yeah, it sucks because DMC5 is really good and people really want that. I really want Dragon's Dogma 2, though.
Yeah, with a more robust system on the NPCs, because that's a really cool system. So
Oh, no, the game's a blast to play.
yeah, everyone's buying Mortal Kombat 11.
Yeah.
So I don't have to say I'm excited for that.
It's Mortal Kombat.
It's a must buy.
Yeah.
And Days Gone, I'm curious about. And my last one I want to bring up is Final Fantasy 12. I know that is a hit or miss title for people, and I want to say that when the game first came out, I did not like it. But I also didn't give it a fair shot. And when it got re-released on
A fair chance.
when it got re-released on PS4, I sat down and actually played the game, and it is very good. So
I think like 12.
when it originally came out,
Yeah.
the combat
I
system
mean,
I
it's
thought was really
weird. It
boring.
almost feels like an MMO.
Well, it was right after 11, so
Yeah.
they took a lot of notes.
It plays like an MMO. I
Yeah.
remember when I played, I was like, this is fucking weird.
It's really easy to look at the game and just assume the gambits are playing the game for you. And for grinding, it does. But for actually like playing, the bosses and stuff like that, you still have to be there and be involved. And it's just taking care of the auto attacking essentially. So.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I used to kind of hate that idea, but when you get into the point where you're grinding for something for fucking hours, I don't care.
There's a lot of neat systems, but like a lot of Japanese games, you got to get into the game a little bit to get to the meat of it. So.
Yeah, you got to get like fucking 8 hours into the game before it starts revealing to you what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like gameplay wise, because it's going to introduce fucking something new system wise every hour.
For sure. But yeah, that's it for me. So
It's quite a bit of things.
well,
And
and
there's-
most of it was just me telling people to buy shit on the Switch if you don't own it already. Because there's
Chevy
a
recommends.
lot of really good titles that if you have a Switch and you didn't have the opportunity to play them, they're coming to you, and that's amazing. So
All right, I want to be clear right now. Fucking listen to me. I'm being as clear as possible. I don't give a single fuck about Bomber Crew, Super Dragon Ball Heroes, and there's one other. Konami, Anniversary, whatever. Who gives a shit? So, with that said, Fink's right. I'm interested in just because it's one of those beloved franchises. It's coming to everything, which I think is a really cool push for them to do. That alone made me go like, I can just play on my PS4 and try it out. Can't be bad. Everybody loves it. Dangerous Driving, I'm curious about just because I love Burnout and I really miss it, and I think it's fucking insane that we don't have a new Burnout. And I've seen recently people are all trying to make their own Burnout because it should exist. And so I kind of want to try this, but it got a 5 on IGN, so I need to watch some stuff on it because that's pretty low. And with a small team, it's really easy to not fulfill what you wanted to do because budget, amount of people, all that kind of shit. But
5's a tricky number too, because it's like right in the middle of the spectrum.
well, and for like an indie group, I can be okay with a 5.
Yeah, if it was AAA and it was 5, yeah, it's way.
Then I'm like, nah, it's not good because half the time they're like shilling for them anyway. Let's see, Shovel Knight Showdown. Actually, I'm not even sure what the fuck that is. I still don't like Shovel Knight. Anyway, you look that up real quick. I'm gonna keep going. Earth Defense Force Iron Rain. I'm gonna pick up because I'm really curious about this. This for anyone who doesn't know, it just came out. Like the other one just came out. 5 just came out. This is coming out right after it in less than a year. And we were like, what the fuck? I looked it up. This is actually an American company trying to westernize Earth Defense Force, make it a little more serious, make it look a little better graphically to try and get an audience here. With Earth Defense Force. They have not done this before. So I'm really curious, first off, how it's going to play and what they're going to do to try and westernize it, but also what a Western team's going to do with it. Because it's a zany concept no matter what the fuck you try and do to make it a little more serious. They keep going like the storyline's going to be more serious. You're still fighting giant fucking bugs in a city. So the big thing, though, is all the expected classes that you get in Earth Defense Force that look different in different games, and you just get new weapons in each one. They're all different in this. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because now you're going to have new ways to play. So I will be picking this up unless it gets like a fucking 2.
I'll wait to see what you have to say about it, because like I said earlier, I still got to play 5.
Yeah. No. And I'm just that asshole who's just like, I'll buy this. I can play for 5 minutes. I'm like, yeah. And then I play something else because something else came out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, that one's good.
Game is a 4-player scramble versus collect the gems add-on to Shovel Knight that everyone who owns Shovel Knight's going to be getting anyways. So
I don't know about that one, but Shovel Knight's dope. Let's see. Yeah, just want to shout out that Cuphead and Dragon's Dogma coming to Switch is fucking awesome. Pick those up if you have not played them. They will play great on there. Those both sound like good games that I could play on my TV, but also take with me, especially Cuphead. Mortal Kombat 11, yeah, fucking buying, of course. That game looks amazing, and we are watching a Mortal Kombat 11 video in this episode. The SteamWorld Quest Hand of Gilgamesh looked interesting, but I saw cards and I'm like, nah. Days Gone. It's funny, man. I was hyped for it. Didn't get hyped for it. And now recently I'm like, it's looking pretty good. And they're saying some pretty ambitious things about it. So I'm really going to wait for those reviews because now people are going like, is this going to be like a sleeper hit the fucking people aren't expecting? I don't know. So we're going to find out. But it's one I got my eyes on. Super Meat Boy Forever. Very excited for this. I fucking love the original.
Good on them for pushing it back because they felt like they needed to as well.
What?
That game's supposed to be out already.
I thought it was out.
Yeah,
that's why I was confused.
They actually said on Twitter that they'd apologize, but they're not sorry because they're humans and they need to be able to not want to kill themselves when they're making something. Essentially,
good for them. Yeah. World War Z. I'm curious about. I don't know if I'd buy it, but every time I watch it, I'm like, that looks like it'd be fun for like 10 minutes. So that's another game I'd be kind of curious to see what people say about it, but it looks cheap. So, I'm not expecting a lot from it. And the Final Fantasy is coming out. I probably wouldn't play them on those consoles, but just knowing that those remasters exist, I kind of want to play them. So shout out to just those games in general. So pretty good month. Love that I'm seeing Switch get so much love. Box Boy and Box Girl looked interesting enough. That's not really my kind of game, but it looked kind of cool. But it's a busy month, and luckily I'm not buying most of these games. So
Viva la Switch.
Viva la Switch, yeah. Let us know in the comments, what do you think about April's releases? Is any of these games grabbing your attention? Are you going to pick up any of these? Are you curious about any of them? Do you think this fucking month sucks and you're like, I'm sick of not getting the games I want? Let me know everything you're thinking about when it comes to April's game releases. Second bit of news.
All right. So Sega is joining the foray in the mini console ecosystem here, and they're coming out with a Sega Genesis that's going to have 40 preloaded games for $80. Comes out September 19th, and they have 10 games listed so far, and this isn't listed here, but I remember seeing them tweet about it. They're still deciding what games to put on there, I guess, and so they're kind of looking for feedback. So
that's good.
Tweet at them. But the 10 games they have listed are Echo the Dolphin, Castlevania Bloodlines, Space Harrier 2, Shining Force,
fuck yeah,
Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, Toe Jam and Earl, Comic Zone, Sonic the Hedgehog, Altered Beast, and Gunstar Heroes. Now, we kind of have done this before, and so I kind of want to ask a similar question that you asked the last time we did this, which is less about like, obviously I want to know what you think about this, even though I already know, but like, what do you think about the lineup so far, and what would you like to see on it?
We did this with the PlayStation Classic, which I've been disappointed with only because really there's no AC adapter, which blows my mind.
The PAL thing versus
they made some big mistakes with that because I really was excited for it, and then they really fucked it. And I just want to say before I even talk about games, first off, this thing's called the Mini. But secondly, did you say the 40 games part?
Yes.
Yeah. So 40 games, that's double the amount of the other consoles. This thing's $80. So that's also really interesting to see. But as for the games, so far what they're showing, they're doing the opposite of PlayStation, in my opinion. There's some pretty big hitters for the console on that list. I know a lot of people talk about Gunstar Heroes. I thought it was okay, but like Altered Beast, is a must. Sonic the Hedgehog's a must. They need to have all the fucking Sonics on this thing. I would really like that, and fucking Sonic and Knuckles fucking functionality. That'd be dope. Although that would take up a lot of the games on here. Shining Force is fucking awesome. That's like the most exciting one on there for me. Comic Zone was cool. Toe Jam and Earl, loved it. Pretty much everything on here I'm a fan of. So this is already a good start, and this is 10 out of the 40, so we got 30 more, and if they're thinking like this, I'm into it. Games I'd like to see, putting me on the spot like that, fuck. Like I said, Sonic games. I'd love to see the Jurassic Park game. I loved that game. Also Rampage Edition, both those games were dope. I don't know if they'll put them on there, but I would love to see that, at least the original one. I fucking love that game. That was like one of my like childhood, like fucking, I was obsessed with that game. Oh god, what the fuck is that game? That Haunting game that we used to have.
Oh,
they would never put it on there. It was Haunting with
It has a weird name, but yeah, it's either Haunted or
Polter
Haunter.
Guy or something like that. That was his name.
Yeah,
And
it was
it
a
was
fun one.
Yeah, it was a game where you had to you go into houses and you're trying to chase the family out of the house.
And it costs ectoplasm.
And it was a really cool concept because you had to possess certain items in the house and strategically try and scare them enough to get them to get the fuck out of the house. And then once you got them all out of the house, you went to the next one. And it was a cool idea, and I'd love to play that again. Also, I'd love to see. What the fuck was that military game where you had two
the
teams?
three generals on each, or the three soldiers on each side.
Yeah,
It's
and
like kind of strategy based.
yeah, I forgot the fuck.
General Chaos.
General Chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah, that game would be sick to play again, just because it was like almost a fucking real time strategy, except for it was all happening at once.
Totally strategy game.
But yeah, you just move your characters around. They're throwing grenades and fucking shooting each other and shit. It was pretty cool. God, there's so many fucking games. What are some games you'd like to see?
So it's funny you brought up General
Mortal
Chaos.
Kombat 2.
Well, yeah, 1 and 2, though 2 would be probably the better one for most people. It's funny you brought up General Chaos because I was like, oddly enough, one of the first ones I thought of, and I was
Oh, Zombies Ate My Neighbors would be fucking a must buy if they fucking put it on there.
I never played a whole lot of that.
I
one,
love that game.
A lot of people did.
I want a physical copy of it. I need to find that.
So, yeah, General Chaos was one of the first ones I had thought of. I also think it'd be cool to put, and these are obviously, for more for us, but like Decap Attack and
hell yeah.
and Crackdown would be good ones.
Yeah, Crackdown, nobody fucking played. Anytime I bring up, they're like, oh, Crackdown? I'm like, no. There's like a game on Sega Genesis called Crackdown. It's not even fucking related.
Yeah.
Not even the same thing.
Super hard, but
That game was ahead of its time, dude. There's cover systems and shit.
yeah, and it had good co-op and was reward. It felt rewarding when you progressed.
And all the levels were like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Just like in and out.
I would also like to see, and now I'm drawing a blank.
Shining Force, all of them.
Shining Force 2 included in there would be cool. I would also like to see the Phantasy Star
That'd be cool.
games in there, but that's just obviously a personal preference. I imagine they'll probably put a Phantasy Star title in there. If I had to guess, it'll probably be 4 or 3.
Yeah, I bought a Sega collection game, and it's neat because it's like when the game starts out, you're sitting in a living or in a bedroom, and you get to load the cartridges in virtually, and then you play them on a TV screen, and you can zoom in and shit. It's just trying to be immersive, but it pretty much had like most of the games we're talking about. So I feel like they'll probably take a lot of those.
Well, probably, especially with 40, because there's still 30 games that they have to pick and bring out there. So I think overall, though, and we brought this up before, but in case you hadn't seen those episodes, I'm not the right demographic for this. I do think these things are neat. This is more like Seth likes kind of stuff. We grew up as with the Genesis, though. That was like our first like owned console that we had. We had access to other ones before. That was the first one we had.
NES, Super Nintendo, all that shit.
So there's a lot of
Atari.
nostalgia here in this one for us. So it'd be honestly, whatever 40 games they pick, we've probably played most of them, and we'll probably be like, yeah, it's a great pick. Yeah, it's a great pick. So, but I think this is probably the best deal out of the small systems I've seen.
40 games, yeah, they're making a mockery of everybody.
So you're getting a lot more bang for your buck here. And if you didn't get a chance to play old Genesis games, you were a Nintendo, you had a Super Nintendo or an NES growing up instead, it's a great opportunity to try those games out. So
I wish they would allow you to put cartridges in this thing too, though. There are like third-party consoles that do that, which are kind of neat, but they're like $200 fucking bucks.
Well, I don't think it's too hard to still find an old Genesis right now.
I have one. So I just you got to get the adapters and shit to make it work on a fucking HD TV.
Right.
I still got the little fucking screw-on shit.
Yeah, a lot of those you can at the very least get a component cable, and those are still on TVs a little bit now. So, but even that's going to be going the way of the dodo. So
that's why I bought that game that has all the. It's essentially an emulator because it is you just put it in the PS4, you fucking play it, and everything's formatted for HD and shit. Yeah. So, and it's all widescreen stuff. Looks great. So they did. I actually think they did a great job with that emulator. So hopefully they're using the same kind of tech that they'd be using in this. So,
Yeah, I know they had a little thing here at the bottom where they were talking about, if people were worried about it, and they named off someone called M2, which if you're familiar with that,
I've heard of them, yeah.
But I don't know anything about them personally. But they're the ones doing it. So
yeah, apparently they've got a pedigree though in doing these, so that's good. That's good that they're concerned about making sure this thing's awesome, because a lot of times there's like, you're gonna buy this old shit, right? You remember this from when you were a kid? We're like, yes, I remember that from when I was a kid. I love video games.
We forgot to make them work on 16:9 monitors though, so enjoy the stretched out 4:3.
Anything else?
No.
So, I barely even said anything about the interest. I want to pick this up, but I'm going to be a little more apprehensive about it just because I was on board with the PlayStation Classic, and there's just too many little things with it. The games they picked didn't even bother me that bad. Like this, there's some cool ones there. There's some I was like, why? But they did not think about that very well. But they just really half-assed it with the fucking lack of adapter and fucking the PAL shit. There was actually games that lagged because of that, because they're the European versions and stuff. I was like, man, that's just too many ways to fuck that up. I have the Super NES Classic, and it's fucking awesome. I love the way it looks. I love the old controller. That's pretty much the biggest reason I fucking buy or want to buy these things, is because I like the nostalgia of looking at the cool little swag of the
baby console.
Of the baby console, but I love that controller. So yeah, it'll 2 wired control pads too. I'm glad they're doing that, and fucking
power cables right there.
Okay, good. I'm just making sure.
USB power adapter, a power cable, HDMI cable.
So yeah, there's a good chance I'll pick this up. It's very dependent on the games, but with 40 games, there's a good chance a lot of games I like are going to be on this thing. That first list of 10 is already a really good list. So yeah, I'm excited for it, but I'm not going to say just yet that I'm fucking ready to buy it, because I need to be careful with this kind of shit after PlayStation fucking burned me. And you're obviously just not particular. You're not the market.
Not at all. Yeah, I'm not even interested.
Yeah. So yeah, let us know in the comments what you think about the Sega Genesis Mini. What do you think about the price point of $80? What do you think about 40 games on this thing? What games would you like to see? What do you think about the games that they've announced already? Did you have a Sega Genesis as a kid, or did you play one later? Or did you not play one at all? You're like, fuck that thing. I don't play that shit. I only play Nintendo. I only play Atari. God damn it. Let us know everything you think about when it comes to the Sega Genesis Mini. And what do you think about these consoles in general? These mini versions, classic versions, and if you could have any, what would you want? I would love to see a Dreamcast. I already have a Dreamcast, but I would love an adorable. They already looked fucking dope. I love the way the Dreamcast looked, and the controllers are dope. But if they were showing, ooh, and then fucking put ROMs on it, that'd be so sick. They already have them on phone. I mean, they could do it easily. So
yeah,
I would love it. Play Blue Stinger and want to fucking shoot myself. Next bit of news. Last bit of news is a video we're going to watch. It is Mortal Kombat 11 official collector reveal trailer. Now, this has been out for a little bit, not too long, but is a new character in Mortal Kombat 11 who's very interesting looking. It's also worth mentioning, too, that Katana has been revealed in a teaser. So we didn't watch that because it's like a TV spot, 1 minute commercial where a real person turns into her, and then it shows her and Scorpion fight. And it's pretty cool. I'm glad to see her back. I like her design. But this dude is really interesting looking from what I've seen so far. I have not watched this all the way. So, anything you want to say before we watch this?
The cast is ridiculously huge in this game.
Fighting games right now are bringing it with the fucking rosters.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They're all trying to like outdo each other.
That balanced game must be fucking murder.
Especially for this game, because like the developmental quality of the whole game on top of balancing everything. I mean, there's just like in the last game, there's that fucking, I forgot the name of it, but that character that had like the little person, the big dude, and they're doing moves the same as somebody who's just punching. Yeah. And they have to balance that and make sure the hits work correctly and shit, and make sure it's fair, that you're not like getting attacked by 2 people essentially. They just got to make it look like 2 people. And it's every time I see anything on Mortal Kombat recently, especially 11, I'm just like, that looks like a difficult ass game to make. That is triple A as fuck. Especially Mortal Kombat 11 is like the best looking fighting game I've ever seen.
Surprise.
It looks better than fucking a lot of games in general. Like, it's crazy. That's why when it's coming out for Switch, I'm like, fucking kudos to them for making that happen. That's crazy. And that's great for people on Switch. But Yeah. Anyway, anything you want to say?
No.
All right. Have you seen or heard about this guy yet?
Yes.
Okay. All right. 3, 2, 1, and go. It looks amazing.
Oh yeah.
Tarkata must pay tribute.
We pay with blood, not gold.
Shao Kahn demands both.
I fucking love the way he looks. It's so interesting. It's interesting because he has 2 arms like most people. Then he has 2 arms in the back, and then he's got 2 arms holding that like backpack thing.
I saw that.
Even the backgrounds look fucking awesome.
Oh yeah.
You think about it, though, like the older Mortal Kombat's pushed the fucking bar too. Like even on like Genesis and Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
There's real actors, which is crazy. And took photographs of them, and their backgrounds were always moving and shit. So it's kind of interesting to see them. Kind of always been doing that for a while, except for during that time when we don't like to talk about Mortal Kombat.
The dark days.
Everybody got really big. Damn.
A lot of hits.
This motherfucker's an assassin. That wasn't finishing him. Ew.
Fatality. Kollector wins.
That guy's a brutal boy. I like him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, fucking pre-order for fucking 8-foot tall guy. All right, so what do we think of Kollector and the trailer in general?
I
No
mean,
mumble rap.
no mumble rap. I really appreciate that. I also appreciate that they, without really getting overly techy about like, oh, here's the move list. Blah, blah. They pretty much just showed the move list in action, which was really cool to see. I think he's cool looking. I think he looks pretty cool. It's always hard to tell until you get your hands on him because
Yeah.
obviously they have the different flows. But the one thing I really kind of appreciate, I guess, about Mortal Kombat in general, but this character specifically, is whoever's doing the animations, the people doing the animations, I should say,
Are fucking wizards.
they're doing a really good job, because then they're watching that guy doing moves and moving multiple limbs, even when they're not actually involved in the attack, when they're just like there's a thought there, like when he's moving and one's arm's coming out for like counterbalancing, because like humans, when we walk, we move arms for a reason. There's a reason we do that. And it seems like they kind of took a lot of that stuff into consideration when they were making his movements and stuff, because sometimes his arms are just like doing something, versus just hitting. So, and I appreciate the detail.
It's funny because like when I play like even DOA 6 and you have characters that are taller than other people and shorter than other people, I thought that was ambitious, because a lot of games try and keep them about the same height, because hitboxes and just programming, it already takes a lot to make different move sets for each character, different designs for each character, and balancing and how their moves work, damage, all that shit. And then these guys are going fucking way beyond like making do with multiple fucking arms. Like that's so much extra work they got to do. That's that shit that you would see in like God of War when they're like, man, it's gonna be really hard doing this, yeah, but it'll be worth it.
Yeah.
And they do it. You're seeing the exact same kind of fucking design in this, where they're doing that much work just to make a game that's realized, where you play Mortal Kombat and you're getting a fucking experience that you're not getting in any other fighting game. The game's a complete fucking spectacle, and I think that guy really shows that off. There's so much shit going on with him, at the point where you're a developer, or the guy who designs this shit. You're sitting at the computer, you're making all the 3D models of shit. Someone's like, let's make a dude with like 6 fucking arms, but he's not just gonna stand like this, like fucking Goro used to in the back in the day. He's like gonna be holding a backpack and doing some shit with the back arms while he's doing other things. And sometimes doing stuff with the other arms. And you're that guy, and you're like, fuck, okay. Yeah, I'll get to work. I mean, that would be rough. I mean, all the characters in this game was like, there's so much work put into them. It's crazy. Sure. It's crazy. Such fucking quality. I can't wait to play this game. But him as a character, I think he's really cool. He looks like my style of fighter in a game. He seems really fast. Although in Mortal Kombat, everybody seems fast. Everybody's just like, bah, 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 bah. But I don't know. I liked his visual style. I liked the arms, all that shit. I liked his brutal ass fucking fatality, which just ripping the dude up with all the different arms. It's basic, but it's just like gnarly. That he's just going to town on the guy. The fucking slitting the throat and stabbing the dude in the head thing. I was like, that's intense.
Yeah, I thought that one was a little more fun, though. I did think the fatalities neat when he took the head and he was like, he kept that part.
Which is cool, because I mean, like, I assume he does that with everybody's head, which is just more to say about the programming and shit. I mean, that's just fucking insane. But yeah, he looks dope, so I'm stoked about that. One other thing I want to say too is it's really interesting how Mortal Kombat doesn't really borrow. I mean, in some way, I'm sure you can make a connection, but it has its own fantasy world that's its own. Yeah, like Baraka and all that shit. They're Mortal Kombat looking. Like, it has its own identity. And of course it always has, but like a lot of games always like borrow from the idea of like, prior fantasy worlds and shit. And this is just like, Mortal Kombat's got like a really gross fucking fantasy world to it.
For sure.
It really shows in this game.
Well, they've had forever to continue developing upon this, and they've had plenty of games to like pick the good and bad things out of and then expand upon and blah blah. So it's
and they've definitely made some characters I think are pretty fucking stupid looking. So
they've made really bad decisions in the past, like a lot of game developers do at some point in their it's whether it's you bounce back or not, and these guys did bounce back fucking 100%. So
yeah, big time.
And that's always the best thing to see, because like Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3,
Ultimate
were good, really great, ahead of their time, fighting games when they came out. And then there's this patch of Mortal Kombat, and then Mortal Kombat 10 or 9.
9, yeah.
They brought it back, so which is amazing.
It is worth mentioning, though, just talking about like the lineage of Mortal Kombat, even during the bad ones, though, that's when they brought in those collection systems and weird little side things to get more items and stuff. And I'm glad they kept that.
Well, that's what I was kind of saying, was like they've had enough time to like they've experimented, so not even just like lore wise and stuff, but they were able to mechanically pick and choose the things that worked and didn't work too. So
I feel like they got misguided in the sense of the same way that Capcom did with Resident Evil, where they thought that what they were making was or should be this. They go, okay, well, we make a overly brutal fighting game. Well, let's make it more ridiculous. People like that campy shit, and they moved it into an area where it's a little too ridiculous, and then they went, let's try and make it a higher quality, like good storied fighting game that still plays around with some of that campiness with good humor or whatever, but more so trying to tell like a real story again. Yeah. And I think that decision to, in my speculation, to kind of ground the game, if you can even say grounding that game, really benefited them. You can kind of almost see an evolution in where their minds are at, because the same thing happened with Resident Evil. They were like, well, let's make a horror game. The Resident Evil movie did really well over in the States, so let's make it a little more actiony. And they did at first. People liked it. They were worried about it. And then it got worse and worse and worse. And now we're at a time where they're making Resident Evil 2 remake and 7, and they're both fucking awesome. So it's almost the exact same kind of chain.
I'm sure that WB money helped too.
Probably. But I mean, some people get big budgets on games and fucking get Fallout 76.
But if you have big ideas and you have the money to back it, it helps.
Sometimes you get big budgets and you get Battlefield 5.
I said if you have good ideas and a budget, not if you have. Never mind.
was gonna bring up No Man's Sky, but they didn't have a big budget, and they're bringing it back around. So
They got sold as if they had a big budget.
they don't
Yeah.
deserve to be in the fucking dirt with the other two.
Plus, this is turning tasty cast, but like,
Yeah, we get the fuck outta
what
here.
people are saying about the VR aspect of that game is great. So
Yeah, I'm stoked about it.
yeah, it's apparently like one of the most immersive VR games you can play.
If you can play the whole game in VR,
Yeah.
fucking that's a full game in VR that you can explore everything. And I'm excited for that. That will make me play the game. So, because you're not getting that for the most part. Before we keep talking about other things unrelated to Tasty Tuesday, let me know in the comments, what do you think about Mortal Kombat 11? Are you excited that's coming out soon? I'm sure you are. What do you think about the trailer that we just watched? How do you think it was done? Do you miss the mumble rap? And what do you think about the Kollector as a character? What characters are you most excited for? Yeah, let me know everything you think about it when it comes to Mortal Kombat 11. But that's going to do it for this episode of Tasty Tuesday on Tasty Gaming. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy this episode. Make sure to check out our other episodes. Check us out on Tumblr and Twitter and Facebook at Tasty Loot Gaming. Check me out on Twitch at Tasty Senpai, all one word, and hit the notification button. And when I go live, if you want to watch my streams and you don't want to go to Twitch, I dual stream, so you can watch me on YouTube. We have a Discord link down below. Talk to us anytime, all time. And we are on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast platforms if you'd prefer to listen to our long form conversations. My name's Seth.
I'm Chevy.
Until the next episode, which will be Tastecast, hopefully. There was supposed to be Tastecast. We didn't do it, but there's an episode where I review the Astro C40. So check that out. Until the next episode, have a good one, guys, and take it easy.